All right, guys, thank you for joining me this morning. All 22 of you guys, or sorry, 53 of you guys. Appreciate it. I know this is early, but I do have to get out of here in about a half hour or so to get into work and combat the traffic that lies before us who live in New York City with these deranged drivers. Anyway, that being said, Mr. Landfill, thank you for the 5x5. It's 4:01 here in Inglewood. No shit. It would make sense. All right, so a couple of interesting articles that I stumble across during the week. I think a lot of these, not that they go unnoticed, but no one really focuses on them. Big Stick Prepping, thank you for the 5x5. If you don't know, buy the book, thank you for the 5x5. Again, guys, appreciate it. Gene, thank you for being here. Devil Dog, thank you for being here. Buy the book, if I said it already. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the 5x5. Ed and SF, thank you for the 5x5. All right, so, guys, let's get into this shit right away. So I stumbled across this article, again, by accident. ADHD suspected in 1 in 4 American adults. It's like they had a problem identifying ADHD when we were kids, right? I mean, it was out there, but it wasn't as, I guess, profound as it is now. But now I think they're over diagnosing people, and now they're saying that 1 in 4 American has ADHD. Maybe because of the phones, but I also think this is another way to get Americans hooked on more pharmaceutical nonsense. But again, we shall see where this article is going to go. So, as many as 1 in 4 adults in the United States may suspect to have undiagnosed attention deficit hyperactive disorder, according to a survey commissioned by the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. I wouldn't doubt that they were on the take too. ADHD is a mental health condition that has typically been diagnosed in children, usually boys, who struggle to concentrate at school. Videos online about ADHD in adulthood, especially young women, have spread awareness about the condition and led to many theorizing that they may have it too. So now people go to WebMD or whatever bullshit and go, I have ADHD. No, you just don't know how to focus. There is a difference between focusing and ADHD, and I think people don't know the two. And I think for a lot of us, we have to write out a to-do list to focus. That doesn't mean you have ADHD. And there are people out there, for example, on a dating site that I was on a little while back, one chick, right out of the gates, first paragraph was like, I have ADHD. You have to deal with me. I was like, wait, what? No, they don't. They really don't. And 2, why would you put that there? So, again, there are people who wear these mental health conditions as a badge of honor. Like people who go, I have anxiety. I'm like, get that shit under check then. Get it under fucking wraps. There's no reason for you to be boasting about shit and then not doing anything about it, right? That's like running around saying, I have AIDS, and then, fucking spreading it around without controlling the shit. Grow up, is what I'm trying to say. Grow up. A lot of these people with these mental health conditions are bragging about it, putting it on TikTok, and making it like a crutch. And it's bullshit. Anyway, let's see. This is something that worries psychologist Justin Barnatan, a clinical assistant professor at the Ohio State Department of Psychiatric and Behavioral Health. I think there is also an patholization, of normal variable in human attention, as not everyone can pay attention all the time or may engage in some of the symptoms of ADHD without causing significant problems. This is the doctor. Research has suggested that many of the videos on social media discussing ADHD often contain inaccuracies, leading some to believe they have the disorder while something else may explain the difficulties they are having. Again, that goes back to focusing. focus on your shit, and you won't have ADHD. But to sit there, because yes, there's so much going on, and there's so many things that are distracting, people need to pull themselves back, and a lot of it's our phones. I mean, if you put your phone away before you go to sleep, your attention problem, your anxiety, your depression, a lot of it goes away. First of all, sleep is supposed to heal a lot of that. But if you take your phone to bed with you, that's a bad idea. Now, last night I did, which normally I don't. I normally put my phone away, and then I lay down and I stare at the fucking ceilings for however long until I go to sleep. I also take, ZMA and these sleeping shoes that knock me out. So there is that. Researchers have suggested that anxiety, depression, and ADHD, all the things can look alike, but the wrong treatment can make things worse instead of helping that person feel better or improving their function. So a lot of people who think they have ADHD might have anxiety or depression. A lot of people who have anxiety and depression think they have ADHD, right? So, and the people with ADHD think they have anxiety and depression, which, again, this is the world we live in. People over-analyzing themselves or over-diagnosing themselves or misdiagnosing themselves. It's why we are here. So some chick who has nearly 500,000 followers on TikTok and 400,000 followers on Instagram has Mind Over Matter. As Mind Over Matter. I think that's her Instagram handle. That's her Instagram handle. It's Mind Over Matter with Emma. So her name is Emma Lewin. Or Elf, I don't fucking know how to pronounce it, makes videos about ADHD, told Newsweek that the topic gains popularity because so many of us grew up thinking that something was wrong with us and that we were flawed. Yeah, and here's the problem. If you're an adult and you know you have ADHD and you bring awareness to it is one thing, but carrying on like a fucking asshole and going, I got ADHD, look at me, be weird, that's you being an asshole. And being weird on purpose. Because to be weird, you have to go out of your way to do so. And a lot of people go out of their way to do so. Little Lone Prepper states, parents too lazy and woke to discipline their kids. Exactly. That's it. My kids act weird, stop fucking being a weirdo. And then that's it. Like when kids do shit, you're just like, yo, be easy, stupid, And then they stop. But we are people like, you can't say that to your kids. Yeah, okay. Anyway, when people began sharing their experience online, it opened up a door for people to connect and feel validated for the first time in their lives. I don't need to feel validated about much or anything, really. But we are in this climate where people need to feel validated. I don't understand. Just shut the fuck up and do what you're supposed to do. Raise your kids. Don't be a weirdo. Stay away from dog costumes. Don't shit in a corner like a cat and you'll be all right. So many of us went unnoticed for a very long time and are not able to speak up and connect the dots about why we struggle so much. Symptoms of ADHD in adulthood often include problems with concentration, memory, and impulsivity, that are severe enough to disrupt the daily life and may get worse with stress and or conflicts. Now, problems with concentration, memory, and impulsivity. That's concentration, memory, and impulse. We are definitely, all of us are in that range, guys, because of everything that's going on. That does not mean you have ADHD. That just means that there's too much shit going on and you have to fucking regain your focus. And what normally gets rid of or solves that problem is a good vacation. Or just dialing down one time a week. Meaning one day a week you fucking stay home from work, you refocus something, you work out, you go for a walk. You hug a fucking tree if you have to, or you go grounding. A lot of that gets rid of a lot of these problems. Symptoms of ADHD can look different between people. Some people might have more difficulty focusing on lectures with organization, while others may have more social difficulties with impulsivities and trouble following along in conversation. Adults with ADHD tend to either have grown up with the condition since childhood or have had symptoms persist and have been diagnosed for the first time in adulthood after childhood symptoms went unnoticed, yada, yada, yada. Cry me a fucking river. All right, this article is fairly long. I'm going to put it in the chat so you guys can read it. And if you guys want to connect with your childhood trauma, go ahead. That's the other thing, too. So I'm watching this TV show called Trent William, right? Trent William. And it's a detective show on ABC. And in the show, the main character, let's see if I can get the article to you guys. The main character has the need to be a bitch every episode. And every episode, he's dealing with his childhood trauma. And I'm like, what happened to just being a fucking hero? But every TV show these days, they carry on with childhood trauma this and childhood trauma that. And get it, I get it, guys. If you have childhood trauma, you have to deal with it. That is your only other option. Crying about it and freaking out and carrying on like a fucking lunatic is not the way. Anyway, with that being said, guys, that was one of the interesting articles I stumbled across upon. I might do a video on that. I'm not sure yet. I read across this other articles for those of you that might be running around shooting Ozempic into your vagina. Don't. But hold on. Let me put this last article I just read in the chat. Hopefully you guys can pull it off the chat, and hopefully people watching this later can pull off the chat as well. So, gynecologists reveal Ozempic's unexpected effect on the vagine. Deal with me, but the word vagina is very, not funny, but it's glorious to say. Those of us who like to deal with vaginas. Anyway, if you're a gay man, you're probably like, oh my God, ugh, yucky, and then like turning off the video, whatever gay guys do when they hate the word vagina. Anyway, Ozempic and similar licensed weight loss drugs have exploded in popularity in recent years, with polls showing that as many as 1 in 8 American adults have tried this class of medication at some point. However, while some common side effects like nausea, cramping are well understood, many of the wider impacts of the drugs were overlooked, especially when it comes to your vagina. I'll put this in the chat as well. I try to read it as little as possible early morning. 6 a.m. in the Midwest. Very good. Ozempic is an injectable prescription drug developed to manage blood sugar in patients with type 2 diabetes. The drug has risen to recognition thanks to one of its side effects, weight loss. AIDS has the same effect, and so is cocaine. Anyway, the drug is based on a molecule called segmelitude, which mimics the structure of a hormone that naturally occurs in the body called a glucagon-like peptide, GLP-1. These hormones play an important role in regulating appetite and blood sugar levels by activating specific receptors involved in these pathways. By mimicking the GLP-1 structure, semaglutide, can also be activated, including the feeling of fullness, delaying the emptying. Oh my God. Emptying of your stomach. In other words, it makes you feel less hungry. Therefore, less likely to overeat, and this is why you lose weight. There's a lot of other things. I didn't know it did that. There's a lot of other things you can do. So anyway, the GLP-1 antagonist, such as Ozempic, has become increasingly popular for weight loss and diabetes management. Dr. Such and Such said there is an unexpected side effect with the vagine. So a gynecologist, Dr. Melanie Bone, that is one hell of a name for a doctor, Melanie Bone. It's almost like a porn name. Anyway, consultant GBI and U.S. medical director states that, however, there is a vaginal health are important considerations that are being overlooked. How does this drug target the stomach, affect the vagina? These medications potentially impact vaginal health in several unexpected ways. First, the rapid weight loss induces the GLP-1 agonists may have altered hormone levels, which could affect vaginal lubrication and tissue health. Some women may experience increased dryness in their vaginas. vaginas. Anyway. CF, I noticed that if I cut down on my coffee intake, my energy level is a lot better during the day. So I do crash if I drink too much coffee after like 1 o'clock. So, dry vaginas, very good. Additional GLP-1 act can cause gastrointestinal side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. These symptoms may lead to dehydration, which further contribute to vaginal dryness and discomfort. The change in diet and gut microbiome associated with these medications may also indirectly impact vaginal microbiome due to the gut-vagina axis. I did not know there was such a thing. So basically, guys, if you take Ozempic, your vagina is going to flake away. That's the take to this. Let me put this article for you ladies to read, because ladies, and only ladies, have vaginas. But let me put this in the chat as well. That's interesting. Now, there are a lot of side effects, guys, to this Ozempic, and they're finding all of it out now. The craziness about it is this drug was originally for diabetes, and people are using it for weight loss, and there are a lot of other problems associated with this because people are taking it long term. Now, I thought that this was a long-term drug for diabetes, and it is. People are having side effects with it. Now, on a separate note, maybe I should have read this off last night, but I did stumble across this article a little late in the game. North Korea sends 10,000 soldiers to Russia. North Korea does, excuse me. I'm trying to see if this up there it is. Here goes a Newsweek article, guys, sending it in the chat right now. I have to copy and paste it to another app, and it takes a little while for it to show up. But all right, so if anybody worry about fucking dried vaginas, and yes, save the vaginas. That should be a shirt. Hashtag save the vaginas. Keep it away from Ozempic. What Johnny 308 said. All right, North Korea has sent 10,000 soldiers to Russia to boost its war efforts against Ukraine. Concerns over the deepening military ties between Moscow and Pyongyang, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong again, have escalated dramatically this week. Ukraine President Vladimir Putin on November 13th, again, asking for help. Please, please look at me. Look what they're doing. Yada, yada, yada. Send me $8 billion more. The Western diplomat told that Kyiv Independent that it's unclear what kind of soldiers they are or what their roles were. What do you mean were? Kyiv Independent contacted Ukraine's foreign ministry but did not receive a reply at the time. As Russia and North Korea deepen military ties, Western diplomats and experts stress that it shows Moscow's increasing need for resources to continue waging a costly war in Ukraine. Now, a lot of people have said that Russia didn't lose a lot of troops, that Russia is doing fine, but apparently they're not if they're accepting 10,000 troops, which is not a lot for a war, I might add, but sending 10,000 troops from North Korea. This is a telling sign. And though a lot of the mainstream media will not report it, Russia has reported that they took severe losses and casualties in their own soldiers. Meanwhile, we're not reporting it for whatever reason, and the 10,000 troops that North Korea is sending over is a bit alarming. Now, this happened yesterday or a couple of days ago, but Vladimir Putin on the 13th states that Russia's plan for supporting a full-scale invasion of Ukraine would come this autumn, including an actual involvement of North Korea in the war. So North Korea, once their troops hit the ground in Ukraine, they're officially involved in a war. So I don't know what that's going to look like for us. I don't know if that's going to force our hands to join in. But nonetheless, this can't be a good thing for either party. Reports have also emerged in recent days that North Korea officers were killed in a Ukraine missile strike in Russia-occupied territory. The Kyiv Independent has not been able to verify these reports, which have been unconfirmed beyond a single intelligence source. Ukraine and U.S. officials claim that North Korea has been supplying Russia with ballistic missiles and vast quantities of artillery shells since the fall of last year. So North Korea is in on this. Now, did I put this article in the chat? Did I put this article in the chat? God, I can't keep up with what the fuck's going on. I'm not sure if I did. I know I put the last one in, the gynecologist one. I'm going to put this article in now too. Excuse me. This is the 10,000 soldiers to Ukraine being sent by North Korea. Next article, completely unrelated, guys, but very interesting. I talked about this earlier this year. New nasal vaccines or arm tickets. Well, it can't be called arm tickets now. I guess you can call them nose candy. Anyway, new nasal vaccines offer better protection from Mr. 19 and the flu. No needles needed. I'm going to put this article in right away. Gentle nasal spray vaccines against COVID and the flu and RSV are coming and may work better than the arm ticket itself. Of course it would. Why wouldn't it? All right, in the comment section. This is a long article, so do yourself a favor, pace yourself. I was going to copy and paste the whole article. I'm like, no fucking way. So I'm going to read part of the article. You guys can read the rest. I was unaware that this is Scientific America, and Scientific America, all of their articles are long. If Scientific America wants to break down how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, they will go from the molecular structure of bread, peanut butter, and jelly and explain that in a lengthy article that's not needed. So just be warned that this is a very long article. All right, guys. So Allison Velasquez hates needles. She never liked them, and they always start with somebody's childhood story and how some bullshit, whatever. I'm just thoroughly annoyed with their articles sometimes, not all the time. She never liked getting a shot as a kid, and her anxiety only grew as she got older. It really ballooned in my teens and early 20s. It became a full-blown phobia. She would panic at the sight of a needle being brought into the exam room. More than once she passed out. And that's when you give it a shot. When this bitch fucking goes into full-blown panic mode, you just fucking stick her in the arm. Then you don't have to worry about her fighting you. Anyway, she would panic at the sight of needles. She would pass out. Velasquez says that she looked at anti-anxiety medications before one appointment, yet still around the room screaming. Yet she still ran around the room screaming inconsolably, like a child. She was 22 at the time. She is retarded. That's what I'm going to say. If my daughter is screaming at 22 years old over a needle, I'm going to put her in the insane asylum. That's it. After that episode, Velasquez, now 34 years old, a financial planner in South Carolina, because she belongs to California with that bullshit, quit needles completely, no arm tickets, no blood work. For all of my 20s, it was a no-go for me. Then Mr. 19 showed up, and it finally hit a point where it wasn't about me, Velasquez said. It felt so selfish not to do this for the greater public health and the safety of our global community. This is why she belongs in California. That liberal-esque answer of, it's not about me, it's about my greater duty to get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Holy shit. So she got the arm ticket against the Mr. 19 in 2021, although she had to sit on her husband's lap while he held her in her arm. Classic liberal behavior. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm reading this. I actually reading this for the first time. I saw the article, I read a little bit of it, and I copy and pasted saying, oh, this will be interesting. I'm going to make fun of this psych patient and her psych bullshit. She was 22 years old running around a room from a needle, and now at 34 years old, she had to sit in her husband's lap like a child to get a shot because she couldn't deal. Oh, God. You guys can read this article as well. I guess we can all make fun of her psychosis, whatever it is. So anyway, the poor guy at CVS had to ask me, are you sure you want to do this? She very much did. I am very pro arm ticket. I am a rational human. I understand the necessities of getting them, she insists, but today she still struggles with each injection. She goes, I'm pro arm ticket. I'm a rational human. No, you're a fucking moron. At your age, you are a complete idiot, a buffoon. And then her buffoonery of an answer saying, I'm a rational human, I'm pro arm ticket, but you're scared of needles. It's called sucking it up, you fucking gigantic retard. And I know she's not watching this, so it's not like anything I'm saying is going to strike her. But yeah. So anyway, guys, because I'm running out of time, the long short of it is that they are pushing the nose spray angle for those who have anxieties of needles. I do not like needles myself, but you know what? When the needle comes in a room, I go, time to suck it up. Period. People go, you're a big guy. You don't like needles? The fuck does my size have to do with anything with taking a needle? Like, it really doesn't. I just don't like them. I'm not going to run around a fucking room so you could chase me with it either. Sounds like you should fire your primary care physician. I haven't had to take an arm ticket for anything since I was like 15. And the last one I took was Hep B. When they came out with that bullshit, my mother was like, oh, you guys should take this. Why? We're not fucking sauntering around banging the first thing that moves. But whatever. We took it. And we don't need it. We didn't need it. I didn't know that. But that was the last arm ticket I took ever in life. So, whatever. So now this article is angling, guys. Is angling at those who are misfortunate and don't want to take a needle because they're scared. Because their anxiety level is up to here. This will deal with that. That's what this article is saying. All of this article for that. Anyway, a few nasal vaccines have been introduced in the past, but they have been beset by problems. The flu inoculation flu mist has not gained the popularity because the debate about its effectiveness and the different arm tickets was pulled from the market decades ago because some people had serious side effects. Oh, no shit. It was called flu mist. I never heard of that. So again, the RSV, flu, and Mr. 19 have a nasal spray coming out by 2027. Oh, whoopee, I can't fucking wait. Yay. Researchers are optimistic as a nasal spray developed for Mr. 19 could be ready by 2027 in the United States. It'll probably be available out of country in 2025 or 2026. Although recent efforts have focused on inoculation against Mr. 19, nasal arm tickets could also protect against the flu and RSV and more. Whatever. Now, there has been the argument, guys, before we go off to here, the argument with the nasal sprays are that they are less effective. I hate to back them up on this, but we use something called naloxone. It's for people on fentanyl, right? So, what the hell's that term? I am at a But naloxone is it fights against those who are overdosing on fentanyl. And I have watched this stuff get sprayed up people's noses and they come to. So there is an effectiveness there. Now, is it as effective as a shot in the arm? Definitely not. A shot in the arm, without a doubt, is probably the best way to go about a lot of these problems. But a nasal spray does have an effective side to it. So it can work, but do I think it's going to have the full potency that they're looking for? Absolutely not. In the nasal cavity, a lot of the stuff gets caught up there. That's why they want you to jam the shit up the nose and break past the bone here and then get it in into the nostril area. Narcotic antidote. Thank you. It's an opiate. It's for opiate overdose. Thank you, guys. Drawing a blank. But that's what it basically is. It's anti-opioids. Again, for fentanyl, especially now, they gave us. So I'm in the truck, and I'm not going to go between the difference between the engine and truck, other than the engine supplies the water and fire, and the truck, we go looking for the fire and people. The engine has naloxone on board because they respond to a lot of these overdoses. The truck, we don't. But they have given us a one-shot deal, nasal spray, for the truck. So in case any of the members come in contact with the fentanyl, we could run to the rig, get this stuff out, and spray it up our nose. And they gave us a one-shot deal. So the problem is getting so bad that they gave us, what you call it? Yes, Narcan. That was the word I was looking for. Naloxone is Narcan. That's what it is in a nutshell. So again, guys, this drug problem is getting worse. And if they gave us this this nasal spray for the truck, who we don't deal with overdose patients. We have different assignments in the field. They giving it to us, it's getting bad. And if you can come across this stuff, the spray that is, definitely get it for your household, especially if you have kids. If you're a teacher, definitely have it in your desk. Even if your school doesn't want you to have it or don't push for it, definitely have it in and around yourself, because we're definitely going to have to use it at some point in our life. Sort of like having a tourniquet. If you're always on the road, guys, have a tourniquet in your vehicle. Have a couple tourniquets in your vehicle, because having a tourniquet is very, very important. Anyway, with that being said, guys, I have to go off the air. I got to run to work. But thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me this morning. I will try to make the next couple of live streams for the midweek report a little later in the morning. But other than that, guys, thank you. I'm surprised to see 195 people in here to begin with. But I'll see the rest of you guys tomorrow for the doubleheader. All right, guys, other than that, good night. Good morning, and have a good day.